Hey, this is the Antisocial Socialite back at it again. Shout out to all the wonderful new subscribers and returning friends. Welcome. If you are new to the channel, you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for, darling? Hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, so when I get to running this mouth, baby, you are in the loop. As we know, Brittany Renner has not been wasting any time jumping on these Instagram streets, as it were, and getting back out there. We're going to look at a couple of videos from her Instagram. I'm going to give my thoughts, and then, yeah.
It's a good day to have a good motherfucking day. And an even better day to follow your heart. Cheers to that, little bitch. How are y'all today? You see the bodies on Revenge, and this is just me sitting down. You either applying pressure or you feeling it. So what y'all doing? Because I'm applying this because I feel like someone needs to hear it. This too shall pass. You know, my life has been a shit show the past 2 months. When I made a decision that I'm going to follow my heart and I'm going to do what makes me happy, and I don't care what it looks like, I feel like so many obstacles have been thrown in my way just for me choosing me. And it feels like, shouldn't this be easy when I live a life of transparency, when I follow the road less traveled, when I'm doing what makes me happy? Shouldn't it be easier? No, of course not. That's why a lot of people are living a lie, a world full of frauds and followers. Because to walk this road, it's not for the weak. So you will be tested. That's just what comes with it. But you have to know this too will pass. On the other side of that fear you have is freedom. Getting that mode around, I'm like, why me? And I do. I get in that mode because what the fuck? Something needs to let out, you know? But then I sit to myself and I'm thinking, who better? Who else? Sweetie, I got the grit and grace. Beautiful and vicious. My favorite. It's a good day to have a good motherfucking day.
Okay.
And it's a better day to...
So Brittany said a whole lot of nothing, to be fair. She starts out by talking about it's a good day to have a good day. And then she starts talking about her body and how she's got her body back. Now, it was just the previous video that everyone was talking about where she was talking about it's stepdaddy season. And it appears to be the same day because I think she's actually wearing the same clothes. And so shout out to El Guapo from the Beautiful Lies channel. He actually said that Brittany Renner was talking about PJ Washington's girlfriend posting pictures of their baby on her Instagram because, as everybody is aware, PJ Washington has got himself entangled with a new IG model. And so she was saying that I trust PJ Washington's judgment when it comes to who he lets handle his baby. Now, this obviously doesn't make sense because the two of them are clearly two dysfunctional and immature people. He didn't have enough good judgment to avoid Brittany Renner. So what makes you think he's going to pick a new IG model? And then she starts talking about, I feel like I need to say this because somebody needs to hear this. And then she tries once again to be all deep and philosophical, talking about this too will pass. And one of the reasons why I shouted out El Guapo, because he said that there's a concept called making a necessity a virtue. You see, Brittany Renner said that in the last 2 months, her life has been problematic. It's been turbulent since she decided to follow her heart and do what she wanted. Now, we know emotions change and, people are in love today and out of love tomorrow. The most significant sign of commitment, love, and endearment these days is who you're following on social media. People care more about who's following who on social media than even rings and legally binding documents and vows like marriage. And so Brittany Renner is out here talking about you need to go and follow your heart and who better than me, and I've been transparent. But Brittany Renner isn't really transparent as much as she is emotional. Okay, she wanted a child. And, really and truly, Brittany Renner knows that she has not got a lot of real prospects out here. This is why she had to go and find a younger guy who was a bit of a sucker, a little bit wet behind the ears, because there was no older guy who was seasoned her age or older, because Brittany Renner is only 29, who was going to really take her seriously. Yeah, she was passed around a lot in the industry. A lot of older guys and wealthy guys have, had fun with Brittany, but not one of them got her pregnant, because at the end of the day, they weren't going to maybe pay out or whatever, or they just made sure that they were, they took precautions to avoid getting her pregnant, because they understand that not only is she out there to have fun, but she's also out there to come up. Because at the end of the day, gravity and all the other aspects of aging are going to take their toll, and she's going to need, she's going to need a backup plan. But the other thing about this is this: Brittany Renner understands that no matter how much love, praise, and adoration she gets from people in the industry, or even the millions of fans and subscribers on social media, none of them really actually have her back. And even in this little clip, she's talking about, you would have thought people would have appreciated the fact that I was transparent and that I live a certain life, that I'm following my heart, and whatever I feel like I want to do, that's what I'm going to do. It's a very new age type of philosophy that she's out here talking about. But she got a lot of pushback. She got a lot of backlash. Why? Because a lot of people realized that she was just using PJ Washington. And it wasn't really just to fulfill a narcissistic need and, make herself maybe a little bit more relevant. Being a celebrity or the girlfriend of a celebrity, it was going to give her career or her popularity, her notoriety, a little bit of a boost. This is a very classic move that a lot of women who know they're never really going to be wives will do. They'll just have some children, because they understand whereas a man can leave, a child cannot. And so Brittany Renner secured the love and the affection and all of the things that she maybe wants to give but doesn't know how. She, instead of getting a husband or becoming the kind of woman who is going to attract the kind of man who would maybe commit, instead she just said, let me find a guy who I can get a child from, because at least that's unconditional love, that's unconditional support. And it's sad, but this is what a lot of women are doing. And Brittany Renner, unfortunately, is no different. She understands that after having so many sexual encounters, having seen it all, having done it all, having never really had a normal average life, the chances of her being able to now come back to being a true housewife, which is what we're going to get into next, is very slim to none. So what's the next best option? Find a simp and have a child. There was nothing transparent about Brittany Renner's life, apart from the fact that she takes a lot of half-naked pictures and a lot of backshot pictures. But in terms of, who she is as a person, I mean, who really knows a lot about Brittany Renner? I mean, I know I don't, but some people, they do. And a lot of people don't care. They just want to see what that body's working with. And so after she said, she trusts PJ's judgment and who he chooses to allow hold his child and post on their Instagram stories, now she's clearly competing again, talking about, either you're applying pressure or you're feeling it. But nobody's pressured by Brittany. Brittany is unfortunately a woman who has clearly an unstable mental state. Somebody who is very emotional, very erratic. She's probably seen a lot and done a lot. And she's realized she can't really come back from that because there's only two paths. Once you go down one road, which is being for the streets, you cannot really come back unless something significant happens, like something so traumatic that you really can't come back from that. And so when she's trying to sound all profound and so philosophical, and she's trying to be encouraging and motivating, it's not helping her. It's not helping anybody. She's just trying to convince herself that the ends justified the means, that, the relationship that she was in with PJ wasn't going to work. And so she was forced to move on. But in reality, it was never going to work because it was never designed to work. The only thing that it was designed to do was fill an emotional void. She wanted to try her hand at looking like a wholesome girlfriend, and at least she can leave with a baby and an 18 years worth of child support. So we're going to have a quick look at the other video that Brittany did. Obviously, the infamous, who said you can't turn a hoe into a housewife video that is breaking the internet right now.
You can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Good. Because I'm both. I don't have to choose. No! I'm gonna start calling people's opinions of me fan theories, because that's truly what they are. They are based in nothing but falsehood, projections, and judgment.
Okay, so right off the bat, Brittany is actually the one guilty of her own accusations, because Brittany is the one who is projecting. She knows that her lifestyle is worthy of judgment, that the lifestyle she lives is worthy of condemnation. That's why she's, coming out yet again after the video we just watched, talking about, I thought people would have appreciated my transparency and me, pursuing my heart and going after my goals and my dreams and everything. Well, now she's talking about people being fans. Nobody's a fan, but if you live a public life, people are going to have things to say about it, whether they agree or disagree, whether they support or they don't support. Once you become a public figure, people are going to talk about you. That's just the name of the game. Once you upload things to the internet, once you make yourself a target, people are going to start taking shots. Nobody's a fan. You are just somebody who has done, it's not even necessarily so uncommon. It's just a game that a lot of these women play, whether they are celebrities, whether they're moving in those circles or not. And your life is an open book in some respects. You have actually showed a number of aspects of your life, like who you've been sleeping with and your body and the work that you've been doing and things like that on social media. So nobody is projecting or assuming. They're judging based on what you have put out about yourself. And unfortunately, this is something a lot of women and people in general don't seem to understand. Once you put that stuff out on social media, it becomes public property. You will go into the court of public opinion. So you can't get upset when people have an opinion just because it's not necessarily what you would have liked them to say about what you publicly disclose. If you didn't want people to have an opinion, you should have just kept your personal business private.
Not too much creativity put into that. Now, I don't do apologies because I'm so sorry.
Okay, so at the beginning of the video, she says, they say you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, which is good. I'm both. That way I don't have to choose. And this is kind of a situation where she can't really go back to normality. She can't go back to what she used to be. And so she's trying to reconcile these two things that are probably causing a lot of cognitive dissonance in her mind. Because Brittany Renner has expressed that she was in therapy, that she wanted to change and turn her life around. She wanted to become a wholesome, virtuous woman, etc., etc. And so obviously, at some point, she's recognizing when you're at home on your own and no one's looking, that this is a lonely road. It must be quite sad, and it must be quite depressing to know that when you walk into a space, the only thing people see is a piece of meat. Like, you are not of value to a lot of people. The only person Brittany Renner is really of value to right now, apart from maybe her family, is obviously her child. The only person that really has her back. And although she seemed to have a very wholesome and rich relationship with PJ Washington, they were saying and, you know, doing stuff and posing together on and off maybe for years, the prospect of something deep and really meaningful probably terrifies Brittany, because all she's used to is very surface level relationships, because all she does is use her body to get a lot of attention. But the attention is not genuine. The vast majority of that attention is not about caring for Brittany. It's actually about using her. And so to reconcile the fact that she has made herself into an object, and the fact that she wants to be seen as something more, she's now coming out with this: you don't need to turn a hoe into a housewife. She can just be both. Now, funnily enough, this is something I actually agree with. I did a video a long time ago called Be the Best Hoe for Your Husband. Okay. And it's basically saying, if you are a married woman, you should be the best hoe you can be for your man. You know, whatever he likes, whatever color lingerie he likes. And, you know, the whole beauty of having a marriage is obviously that you can share that intimacy together. So Brittany cannot call herself a housewife because, you know, she doesn't have a husband. You know, and unfortunately, a lot of women are redefining terms just so that they can use them to fit their personal situation. You want a housewife who isn't a hoe for everybody else. Brittany's got the hoe part right, and she's got a little bit of the housewife part right, but she's kind of got it mixed up in terms of the proportions. You're supposed to be doing more housewifing and less hoeing. But I don't know if Brittany's ever going to get that memo, or if she's only going to, you know, stop riding the CC when she's dragged off kicking and screaming. And so this cognitive dissonance that she has, that, you know, people are hating on her, they're watching her, they're fans, you know, that she thought this is what they wanted. Well, this is what was a quick, easy buck for you. Stripping and posing half naked, it doesn't take a lot. And so, well, psychologically, it takes a lot out of you, but it's not necessarily hard work. And Brittany's realized that she cannot go back to a civilian life after having been flown out, after having had jewelry, rubbing shoulders with all the different athletes and things like this. It's going to be very hard for her to come back to a regular life. And that cognitive dissonance has to be reconciled somehow. So she tries to say, well, I can still be a respectable woman while still posing half naked on the internet and basically using my body to get whatever needs I want met.
To regret anything I've done is to regret the awareness that I've gained.
So once again, Brittany tries to reconcile the ends justifying the means. So she says to regret what I've done would be to regret the lesson that I learned. And this is a very narcissistic point of view where the person doesn't really have any remorse. Because again, this is not a case of you forgot something at the house, or I don't know, I can't think of a minor misdemeanor. You literally created an entire life with a person who you then stop from seeing the child for whatever reason we don't know. And then you basically use somebody to get a kid, maybe against their will, And now you're also going to charge them to care for this child that they didn't necessarily want. And it would be interesting to know what lesson Brittany actually learned from this fiasco, other than because she already knew that athletes don't wear condoms, and it was easy to trick them and to use them and maybe have a baby out of them, because she did a video prior to this talking about how dumb athletes were and they never used protection. So what did she gain after having a child that she didn't know before? But again, a lot of modern women will take this as something deep and profound. They will look at it as justification for her behavior, as if to say, well, whatever I do is okay because the ends justifies the means.
I don't like the sound of that. If it taught me something, it made me better. So why do I have to pacify a man to make you feel better?
Again, what man is she pacifying? Letting a man see his child is not pacifying him. So I don't know who she's talking about, but if PJ Washington wants to see his child, that's not pacifying him. That's giving him the rights to the child he created with you. And so that's just a ridiculous statement.
Because the difference between me and you is that I have more courage in my big toe than you do in your whole entire body. And anything that I say, just telling the truth, anything I say that scares someone off, I'm glad. Because that's one less coward to waste my fucking time.
Again, this is the sign of somebody who's maybe got some borderline personality disorder. They're a little bit emotionally unavailable. True intimacy actually scares Brittany. And so she becomes the most offensive and the most, I don't want to say vile, but she becomes the most abrasive that she can be in order to prevent people getting close to her. And so when she says, I've got courage, it's not really that she's got courage. She's actually probably the most scared. And something like borderline personality disorder, narcissism, and some other disorders like sociopathy, these are characterized by a loss of identity. There's a whole identity crisis going on in there. And people who don't know who they are, they don't know how to necessarily interact with others. And so Brittany, having created this persona, you know, I'm so happy. Her Instagram page is called A Bundle of Brittany, kind of like a bundle of fun. You know, but it's clear that she's mentally unstable. She's unhappy. Her moods are very erratic. Even the way she presents is kind of like you see the changes in the character. I don't mean like her personality. I mean like every so often a different personality pops up. Now, I wouldn't say that Brittany necessarily has multiple personality disorder, but what I would say is that she's definitely got some emotional instability in there. And having presented a fake life for so long, it's kind of understandable that she doesn't have a concrete idea who her identity is, because all she's known for is taking booty pictures, you know, sleeping with athletes. A lot of who she is probably, or who she believes she is, who she accepts her identity to be, is probably determined by other people because of what they say about her.
I stand on everything I said. I stand on everything I did. And if it doesn't work for you, then you don't work for me. Because I'm not gonna lie. Who are you? You only lie when you're afraid. Who are you to me?
Okay, so she says, you only lie when you're afraid, and who are you to me? Well, she has to say that to save face because she's getting a lot of backlash. But the reality is this, she knows that a lot of the people who are criticizing her, they're right. And again, it's kind of turning, you know, a necessity into a virtue. She's trying to make her like she's strong and she's courageous and she's pursuing her heart, etc., etc. But really and truly, she's just trying to save face because she's embarrassed. She realized a lot of people don't really rate what she did. And no matter how much love she's getting, they're not rocking with what she's doing. And she's making a fool of herself. talking about courage. It's not courageous. It was selfish. It was selfish to create the child that the father didn't necessarily want and you guys weren't in a stable position to have. And then you're selfishly keeping him from the child just to spite him for some strange reason, you know. But again, maybe it's she doesn't want to be emotionally attached. She knows if she spends more time with him, she may catch genuine feelings. And actual true intimacy is something that probably terrifies her after being used for so many years and kind of suppressing her emotions in order to be able to engage in the acts that's going to make her money. Having true intimacy with somebody who genuinely cares about her is probably one of the most frightening things. Although she says she's courageous, it's probably quite the opposite.
What's crazy is there's a lot of y'all in relationships that are fucking miserable. And the only reason you're still in a relationship is because you tolerated being cheated on and mistreated.
Now, again, this is a conjecture. This is a very strange argument. It doesn't even make any sense that some people are in relationships because they got cheated on and they don't want to leave because of something. It's like, how many people are really cheating on their partners and how many people leave as a result of the cheating? So that argument, whatever she said, didn't even really make any sense. Again, she's trying to sound like she's really well versed and she understands something. Maybe in the circle she moves in, because you have people who have a lot of money changing hands and they understand, like, maybe I don't want to lose this lifestyle, so I'm going to tolerate the cheating. But that's not the vast majority of people. A lot of people stay in relationships because they're more scared of being lonely than they are because someone cheated. Because staying with somebody because they cheated on you doesn't make sense unless you feel like you will never get another partner. So
let's get into it. A lot of you don't have the courage to leave something that's comfortable, something that looks good, because the unknown terrifies you.
As it does Brittany.
I was there once, so it's no judgment. The right people will gravitate towards you. And it's just better to own your truth and see who's meant to be around. Because, sweetie, this ship is sailing. So if you want to jump overboard, if you want to steer clear, please leave me the fuck alone. I do not have time to waste. And I'm not like these other bitches.
Even though she's just like these other women
that will just accept your crumbs. I need the whole loaf. Whole motherfucker.
I mean, even Brittany doesn't believe what she's saying, okay? No matter how much she tries to look confident, the fact that she's kind of smirking and she doesn't believe an ounce of what she just said. And she knows what she's saying is garbage. Because at the end of the day, you had the whole loaf with PJ Washington. He was booed up with you. He was loving on you. He wanted to be with you. Probably part of the reason why he's so frustrated that he can't see his child is because the relationship is over. And so you had the opportunity to have the whole loaf with PJ, because he was maybe the only dude that was going to really take you seriously. Now, even if PJ Washington didn't take her seriously, ultimately, Brittany Renner was in that relationship by choice. Nobody forced Brittany to date PJ Washington. Okay, she had a lot of opportunities to deal with men in the industry, but she somehow ended up in this seemingly long-term relationship with this guy. And instead of looking for a guy that she actually could respect, she gets into a relationship with a guy who she doesn't plan to be with for life. And then when it breaks down, she almost tries to play victim, like somehow he was the one who let her down, even though she volunteered to be in the relationship with him, knowing full well that she didn't want to be in the relationship with him. And this is a game that a lot of modern women play. When they come on social media crying about their baby daddy, talking about the men in their life and what they are and are not doing, really and truly, this is a deflection. Because unless you are being forced into a relationship, you were in that relationship voluntarily. So to make out as though somehow PJ Washington was cheating or he was abusing her, or he wasn't treating her well, or he was giving her crumbs. It's like, to an extent, after you've kind of been around the block and done it all with everybody, what loaf are you really looking for again? If a man really wanted to wife Brittany Renner up, I'm sure he would have done it by now. And so to make out as though she has something unique and special that no man has seen or got before, it just shows how deluded she actually is, especially because we're not just talking about her whole life, we're talking about her whole body is out there on social media for all men to look at. Once you've had that kind of level of attention and things like that, there's no way you're gonna, it's very difficult for you to turn your back on all of it and then just go and live an average life. But again, she's trying to resolve this conflict in her mind between what she's done and what she claims she wants in the future.
And if that makes me the Wicked Witch of the Ground. Start a documentary. Call it Surviving Brittany Renner. I want to fund it. I need a good laugh. You can't turn a hoe to the house.
So really and truly, Brittany is not even that important. Brittany, you're not that special. Like, no one's looking at you like the Wicked Witch of anything. No one really cares that much. But all people are saying is, if you knew full well you didn't want to be in a relationship with PJ Washington, you should have just not had a child with PJ Washington. You should have just used your money and, you know, got a sperm donor. But that's all I really got for this one. Unfortunately, a lot of women, they go down this wrong path. And then by the time it gets real for them, they're trying to justify their decisions and seem like they learn something. And as they've got older, they've aged like fine wine. They're bringing all this experience and knowledge to the table. And we see it night after night on shows like the Kevin Samuels show, where women are older. They're coming to their relationships with baggage, with children, all kind of drama in their wake. And then they're like, I'm ready to settle down and have a serious relationship now. And I'm a better woman, even though I'm older, and I'm coming to the table with all this baggage because I've learned something. So let me know what you guys think. Is Brittany Renner a lost cause? Who shall we estimate she'll be dating next? Will somebody actually wife Brittany Renner up? Share this video with somebody who needs to see it. Give it a big thumbs up. Share, and obviously let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.